Hello, my loves. Today we are going to begin in an easy pose. If you prefer to have props under your hips, you can do so here. We're going to be here for a while, so get comfortable. We're going to start by infusing an intention that you can set for class today by gently placing our hands over our sacral center or our lower abdomen. I want you to imagine an orange glow here, feeling the warmth under your hands. This orange glow has an orb shape, and with every breath in, it gets larger, surrounding your hips, your lower belly, and your legs. Our general intention today is speaking from the heart with authenticity so that we can connect with others in a genuine way. The sacral center is our creative center, our sexual center. It's where we can connect with others. Moving on, we can place our hands on our heart center or our chest. Again, with every inhale, bringing that orange light, growing it so that it surrounds our torso, our ribs, our shoulders, our entire heart space here, so that we may speak coming from the heart. We can then, on an exhale, bring our hands gently to the front of the throat. Inhaling, creating this orange glow around our neck and our head so that it finally surrounds our entire body. Our throat chakra is where we're able to actually speak and voice authenticity. Eventually, you can exhale, letting your hands fall down to your knees, palms face up. Our index and thumb fingers come together. Our middle ring and pinky finger can come out straight, like they're glued together. This mudra is good for knowledge and wisdom. And while we're here, we can go ahead and move on to 3-part breath. So on your inhale, we'll inhale deeply down into the lower abdomen, letting the belly expand, then the ribs expand, and lastly the chest. Exhaling, letting the chest fall, the ribs contract, and lower belly contract. Again, inhaling deeply down into the lower abdomen, the ribs, the chest. You can hold for a moment before you exhale, letting the chest fall, ribs fall, and lastly from the lower belly. You can continue this for 3 more rounds. Again, still concentrating on the orange orb surrounding your entire body, maybe even filling the room. Eventually, you'll blink your eyes open. You can move your prop out of the way. We're going to come into windshield wipering our legs. So feet come out in front of us, knees are bent, knees dip to the left and to the right. left, and again, landing on the right, staying here, sit up. On an inhale, we're going to go ahead and come up onto our knees, lift our hips, open the arms, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sit back down, hands come to our sacral center. Again, inhale, lift the hips, arms come open. Exhaling, coming back down, hands to our lower abdomen. One more time, inhale. Exhale, sit back down, coming back to center. We'll go ahead and windshield wiper each way. Landing on the left this time, sit up. Take a moment to put your hands on your lower abdomen. And when you're ready, on an inhale, we'll come up, lifting our hips, opening our arms again. Exhale, take a seat, hands to belly. Again, 2 more times like this. Inhale, lift the hips, arms come wide, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sit. Last one. Inhale, lift your hips, open that heart space. Orange glow is pointing out in front of you. Exhale, sitting. Coming back onto our seat. We're going to go ahead and come into a kneeling position, sitting back on our heels. We're going to do some more heart openers here. First, bring your hands to your heart this time, infusing that intention into the heart space. On an inhale, just cactus the arms open, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, crossing the arms in front of you, giving yourself a hug, rounding the spine. Inhale, cactus the arms open, slight back bend, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, as you round forward, giving yourself a hug. We'll continue this with your own breath, inhaling as you open, cactusing the arms, and hugging yourself as you round, exhaling. We'll take one last round here. Inhale, open up, slight back bend, looking up towards the ceiling, and exhaling into your hug, rounding the spine, pausing for a moment. As you come out of this, gently graze your hands across your chest, your body, your thighs. Maybe start to make circles with the crown of the head, starting to roll out the neck one way and then the other. Still grazing your body, bringing presence and awareness into your body. Eventually, we'll tuck the toes, coming into this squat position on our toes. Our knees are wide, our feet are close together. Walk your hands forward, taking this child's pose variation. If it feels better, just take regular child's pose. You may do so here. Maybe make some wiggles or movements that feel intuitive and good to you. On your next inhale, walk your hands back towards your knees. Come back down onto your knees, but keep the toes tucked. Hands come to the heart. Releasing the hands down to the mat, grazing your body as you come down to a tabletop position. We'll come into puppy pose. So shift your knees back a step, keep the toes tucked, walk the hands out, and let your heart space drop down to the mat. Forehead comes down to the mat. Our hips are directly over our knees here. You can untuck the feet and breathe. This is a deep shoulder opener and a deep heart opener. You may also take the option to bring a block under your forehead or a bolster under your torso for a little bit more support. If this is just way too intense, Just feel free to take regular child's pose here. Make sure you're staying with your breath. If you want a little bit more, you can bring the chin to the mat, looking towards your hands. Eventually, we'll slowly start to shift forward, coming down onto our belly. Hands come under the shoulders, inhaling, lifting to cobra, lift the chest, lift the gaze. We'll do this a few more times. Inhale, squeeze the elbows towards each other as you come up into cobra. Exhale, lower. Focus on pressing the front of the pelvis into the mat here and only come up as far as you need to. It doesn't have to be super deep. Couple more times. Inhale as you come up, press the pelvis and tops of feet into the mat. Exhale, lower. One last time. Inhale as you come up. Exhale, lower down onto the mat slowly. Option to grab your blanket for under your head. We're going to take a shoulder opener. The right side of your face will come down to the mat. Right arm comes out to the side in a T position, palms face down. We're going to bend the left knee, roll onto the right, bringing that left foot behind us. This is creating a stretch in the front of the right shoulder. You can bring the hand down towards the pelvis a little bit if it's a little too much. Also, option to bring the knees together in a fetal position. That will also decrease the intensity of this stretch. Find what is comfortable for you and come back into your breath here. Slowly start to release that left leg back, roll onto your belly once more. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So left arm comes straight out into the T, palm face down. We can bend that right knee, bringing the right foot behind the left leg. Feel it out here. Maybe you walk your left hand down towards your pelvis a little bit more. Maybe you bring your knees together in a fetal position. Find what's comfortable and then settle in. We'll stay here for a while again. You can start to release that right leg back down onto the mat, rolling back onto your belly. You can move your blanket or prop out of the way. Coming into downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. We'll start to stretch it out here. You can shake your head yes and no. Maybe start to pedal out the feet, bending one knee deeply, straightening the other leg, and alternating here. Getting into the backs of the legs, opening the shoulders more. Remember to focus on having a straight spine, so if you need to really bend the knees, please do so. Eventually, you'll come into stillness in your downward facing dog whenever you're done making whatever movements you need to. Looking up towards your hands, mindfully step one foot at a time, walking your way, feet behind the wrists into a standing forward fold. Pausing once you get here, cross your arms, hooking opposite elbows, bend the knees, and start to slowly sway left and right. Eventually coming into stillness in your standing forward fold. Bring the hands to the mat. We'll step the right foot far back, coming into a low lunge. The right knee stays up. You can either stay in your low lunge or you can take the option to dip your right hip down towards the mat and then rotate back to your low lunge. Again, dipping the right hip down towards your mat, rotating back into a low lunge. One more time, dipping the right hip and rotating back. Find your balance. Step back into a tabletop position and then straight into your child's pose. Knees come wide, feet come together. Rest for a moment. We'll start to press into the hands, coming up. Tuck the toes under, come back into your downward dog again, shaking the head yes and no. Go ahead and step that right foot up, low lunge on the right, left knee stays lifted. Again, stay here, or take the option to dip your left hip down towards the mat, rotating back to your low lunge. Rotate, dip the left hip down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, dip the left hip down. Inhale, come back to center, low lunge. Sweep that right leg back, come straight into your child's pose again. Take one breath in, one breath out. Resting here, I want you to bring your attention back into those three chakras, your sacral, your heart, and your throat. Imagining that orange light glowing in each of those points. Then we'll press up. We're going to go ahead and slide our chest along the mat, coming onto our belly, inhaling right into cobra. Exhale, lower back down to the mat. Again, tuck the toes, sit up and back, downward facing dog. Looking up towards our hands, mindfully stepping our feet behind the wrists. Exhale into your forward fold. Take your feet about as wide as the mat. Bend the knees and start to sway. We're going to come into a squat variation. So bring your hands down to your mat, and we're going to focus on keeping the torso glued to our thighs. So inhale, squat, torso to thighs. Exhale, straighten back into your forward fold. Inhale, squat, belly and torso to thighs. Exhale, straighten, forward fold. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold. 2 more times, inhaling as you squat, belly to thighs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold. This time we're going to squat down into your malasana, yogi squat. You can take an option to bring a bolster or block under your hips here. Elbows come inside of our knees. Hands come to prayer at heart center. You can make a little bit of movement or stay in stillness here in this hip opener. Eventually bring your hands down. Take a seat onto your mat. We're going to set up for our final rest in Shavasana. You can grab any props to make yourself comfortable. Maybe put a bolster under your knees, a blanket under your head, or maybe cover up with a blanket as well. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Get situated. Lie on your back. I invite you to take your left hand to your heart and your right hand towards your sacral chakra, again, your lower belly. And then come back into the 3-part breath here. Inhaling deeply into your lower abdomen, ribs, and chest. And then exhaling from your chest, ribs, belly. Do this 3 more times, eventually coming into your natural breathing. You can start to make some small movements. Slowly move any props out of the way. Eventually bringing your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a little squeeze and rolling off into your right side to a fetal position for a moment. I also invite you to keep your eyes closed as you press yourself up to a comfortable seat. We'll end this practice by grazing our hands on our thighs and our legs, bringing some awareness back into our sensual body. And then inhale your arms up and over, hands come together, exhale them down to the heart center. Thank you for practicing with me today, my loves. Namaste.